Okay, this is Miss Davis, and we're talking about powers of 10, single digit times power of 10. This is math, 8th grade math standard EE3. We want to enter this in our calculator. Now we can enter it just like this. This is 10 times 10 to the third. We can say 2 times, and we can say 10, and we can hit the X third button right here and hit equal, and it's going to give us our um, standard number. Now this calculator is in its normal mode, like you would get a calculator if someone's cleared it. Okay, this is its normal mode. Now, I don't have to use that button if I don't want to say times. There is another button on the calculator down here at the bottom that we get into with scientific notation, which is Math Standard EE4, but we're going to use that today also to show you. I can use this button, so let's clear that. So here we're going to put in 2, and we're going to hit this button. It does all of this part for us, and it's waiting now. Flashing here, waiting on an exponent. Looks a little bit different because it's a big number. It doesn't really look like an exponent, but this is the exponent. And I can hit equal, and I get this 2,000. Let's try the negative exponent. So I've got 5. We're going to use this button down here at the bottom and hit negative 2 and hit equal. And it gives me the fraction first. If I want a decimal, I click there. Again, we can do either one of these. Let's go back and say 4 times 10 and raise it to a power. We're going to use this button here that's X to any power. We hit it first and then type in our power of 5 and we hit equal and we get this number. Now notice it doesn't change back to this in this mode. Okay, let's do this last one. So we got 3. We're going to use this button at the bottom, negative 4, and hit equal, and it gives us our fraction. But when we hit the SD button on this particular example, it's giving us our notation again with a single digit times the power of 10. If you need to know your decimal, okay, I need to change the mode on this calculator. So I'm going to do shift setup. I'm actually, yes, changing the setup instead of the mode. And I want to hit normal, which is 8. But this time I want to hit 2, not 1. So if I say normal 2. Okay, now when I've got my fraction and I hit SD, it's going to give me my decimal. So if you need to know the decimal and you don't get it, you may have to change your setup to do, and you do shift setup normal, and you want to hit number 2. Okay. If you're multiplying and dividing these type numbers, you can just again use this button at the bottom, or which is easier, or you can set up and get a number, hit enter. We'll do it both ways. So let's say we'll take this one because it's bigger. We're going to see how many times larger. We'll get to that. And we're going to divide it by 2 times 10 to the third. Now, of course, you could set it up as a fraction if you wanted to, but we're just going to use the divide button. So we can say 4, we can go ahead and say times 10 to the 5th. If I do this, I'm going to go ahead and hit equal and get this number. Then I'm going to say divide 2 times 10 to the third and hit equal, and I get this huge number. Let's do it with this button down here. See if we get the same thing. So we got 4, we got this button, we're waiting on the exponent of 5. We're just going to go ahead and hit divide. 2, this button down here, we're waiting on the exponent of 3, and we're going to hit equal. Hope we got something different. So I did something wrong the first time. Alright, let's say 2 times 10 cubed is equal to, alright, this is 2,000. So if we don't use the button down here, we might actually get numbers up here. So this was 2,000. I didn't think that looked right. Alright, let's do this again. And 4 times 10 to the 5th was 400,000. So I'm going to then divide that by 2,000, and I get the 200. So So you see this button down here, this is nice. So I recommend using this button. Now, in EE3, we're going to round this. We want our answer to look like this. We can actually use our calculator to do this for us, but you've got to know how to do the mode. So I'm going to clear all this off. We've got to change our setup. Okay, so if we want to, because we type this in, I mean, there's no way we can hit all these buttons. Nothing's going to change it. And this engineering button might get it close. We can hit this, and at least it kind of puts it in what we're going to learn as scientific notation. But we didn't round anything for us. But it gives us an idea of the exponent if we want to use this engineering button. But I can let my calculator actually round it for me, but I have to know what I'm doing. So I don't recommend this unless you really know how to set up your calculator. So if we hit shift and set up, look at this menu again. We want to do this number 7, which is scientific notation, and we want it to have only one number, so you have to punch 1. Okay, now I'm going to type this number in, 3782988, and I'm going to hit equal, and it rounds it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decimals. We would round that to 4 because of the 7. And we have 6 zeros, so this is our answer, 4 times 10 to the 6th. Okay, let's do this small number. I've still got it in this certain setup for scientific, with one digit value. So put 0.0000003286 and hit equal. It rounded it to a 3 because of that 2, and my exponent is a -7. Now, if I hit S to D, nothing's going to happen because my calculator's been set up to show me this particular answer. So if I wanted to go back to the decimal, I would have to change my calculator back out of that mode. So we're going to shift setup, and we want to go back to normal, and I'm going to do 2, and there's my decimal again.